Alright, so I'm doing this video to work a couple angle relationships problems with you. I'm going to work half of them, and then you're actually going to do the evens on your own as a minor assignment. So you need to remember that we currently have 3 angle relationships we're looking at. The first one is vertical, the second is complementary, and the third is supplementary. So these were in those notes I posted. I posted a video and PDF notes. Now vertical, they're going to be in an X, and they're going to be across from each other. Complementary, you'll see a little box because it's a right angle, and they'll be next to each other. And then supplementary is in a line, and they're next to each other as well. They're adjacent. So remember, if they're vertical, they are equal. If they're complementary, they equal 90 degrees, and if they're supplementary, they equal 180 degrees. So when I look at number 1, I first need to decide, are the angles across from each other or are they next to each other? I'm actually going to shade in the angles so you see. This first angle is right here, and the second angle is right there. So when I look at these 2 angles, they are next to each other. So if they're next to each other, that means that they're either going to be complementary or supplementary, because remember, vertical are across from each other. Now the best way to tell which one they are is by this little box. If it has the box, it is complementary. So now looking at the information I give you, I asked what the measure of angle PTQ is. So I'm going to look, I'm going to go from P to T to Q. So I'm actually looking for this green angle. And I tell you that Q to T to M is 62 degrees. So if I tell you that, and I know the whole angle is 90 because of that little box, you're going to take 90 and you're going to subtract 62 from it, and whatever's left over is what that green angle is. So it ends up being 28 degrees. So angle PTQ, that green angle, is 28 degrees. Alright, so in example 3, it's just like example 1. The angles are next to each other. We have this first angle, QFH, and the second angle, FHK. So remember, when they're next to each other like that, they're either complementary or supplementary. And I told you, in order to decide, we need to see if there's a box. If you look right here, we do have the little box, which means we're dealing with a complementary angle pair. So looking at the problem, I'm looking for the measure of KFH. So I'm going to trace it. KFH, I'm looking for the red angle. And the measure of HFQ, so HFQ, I tell you is 52 degrees. Now we already found out it's complementary, which remember is equal to 90 degrees. So I'm going to take 90, I'm going to subtract the angle I know, which is 52. And that's going to give me the missing angle. So 90 minus 52 leaves you with 38. So I know KFH is 38 degrees. Alright, so we're going to look at the angles we're using in this problem. The first one, JSH. So I'm going to outline it, JSH. I'm going to draw the angle mark. The next one is QSH. So QSH, draw the angle mark. Now again, you ask yourself, are these angles across from each other or next to each other? And if you see, they are next to each other. So now I've narrowed my options down to complementary or supplementary. Remember, in order for it to be complementary, there needs to be the little right angle marking. And if you look here, there is not one. So we can cross out complementary, and we know these 2 angles are supplementary, especially because they make a line together. So it's just like complementary. We're going to look at the information we were given, and it says that QSH is 102 degrees. Now, in the other examples, we've subtracted from 90. This is supplementary, so instead of subtracting from 90, we're going to subtract from 180. So 180 minus 102 gives you 78 degrees. So you know this angle we're looking for is 78 degrees. Now this next angle, the first one is RJX. So RJX is right here. The second one is RJS. So again, we look, are they across from each other or next to each other? They are next, so we have complementary or supplementary. I don't see any right angle markings, so I'm going to take out complementary, and I know they're supplementary, which means they are equal to 180 degrees when we add them together. Now I'm also given that RJS is 68 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 180, I'm going to subtract 68 from it, and when I do that, I'm left with 112 degrees as my angle for RJX. Alright, so the last example I'm going to do with you is number 8. So the first angle I have is KMF. So KMF, draw a little angle mark. And the second one it talks about in this problem is QME, draw the angle mark. So again, you need to ask yourself, are they across from each other or next to each other? And if you look here, they're not touching each side, they're not sharing sides. So these are across from each other, which means these are vertical angles. And remember, I told you, if they're vertical, they are equal. So looking at the problem, I tell you that QME is 132. If they're vertical angles, they're equal. So that means that KMF is also 132. These are your easiest ones with numbers. You just have to rewrite the number, anything like that. So as your minor assignment, you are going to work problems 13 through 24. You are going to work them on a separate sheet of paper. You need to title it Angle Relationships Minor Grade. So this is a minor grade. It will go in the grade book. And if you don't do it, you will receive a 0 and your grade will go down because of it. So please make sure you work these. They will be due either Tuesday night or Wednesday night, probably Wednesday. So make sure if you have any questions, you email me or text me. And that's it.